Congressman, along these lines, I'm going to play for you a part of a conversation I had with a friend of mine today. This was in the 3 o'clock hour Eastern time. This is retired U.S. Army General Russell Honore. I asked him from his home in quarantine in Louisiana what he made of this post office dust-up.
You know, our soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines around the world rely on the post office. As a veteran, I rely on the post office. My e-scripts are not showing up on time. I had to call this morning, not here. I'm going to have to go get some medicine at the Walgreens this afternoon because e-script is not delivering on time, and they use the post office. I have the option to drive to the store. What about my battle buddies who don't have that option? They have no one to take them to the store when their meds don't show up. This has to stop.
Congressman, if that doesn't break your heart needs to be fixed. Here's a guy who gave 37 years to our country. That means we owe him exactly everything. He's an old man now, trying to do everything right, trying to stay alive. So what answer do you have for him? What answer do you have for everyone watching tonight who feels completely helpless that this is happening to their post office?
Well, it's good to be with you, Brian. And you said it best. I mean, I share the general's outrage, and I couldn't agree with him more. It's infuriating. It's unconscionable what is happening with respect to the Postal Service and what this president is doing to undermine the Postal Service. And it's important for us to take a step back and recognize just how unprecedented in terms of what today's developments entailed. I mean, the president openly admitting that he is sabotaging intentionally the Postal Service to prevent citizens from exercising their right to vote by mail in the middle of a pandemic. It's not just nonsensical, it is dangerous. And I do believe that Congress has a muscular role to play in ultimately ensuring that we don't let this continue. As you said, I introduced a bill back in March of this year to provide a $25 billion emergency appropriation to the Postal Service, which was consistent, by the way, with the request that we received from the Board of Governors of the Postal Service, which every member of that board has been appointed by President Trump. That request has garnered the support of many of my colleagues in the House of Representatives. As you know, it passed the House many months ago as part of the HEROES Act. Unfortunately, the Senate has refused to take any action. And, it is, as I said, unconscionable. I don't think we should assume, though, that our institutions are impervious to public opinion. And my hope is that folks will make their voices heard in the coming days in terms of describing their outrage with respect to what's happening at the Postal Service to their elected members of Congress and their respective senators. I mean, we're hearing from constituents every day, Brian, with stories so similar to the generals, veterans, folks who are disabled, people relying on the mail for medication, small businesses who rely on the U.S. mail. It just, at the end of the day, is something that I don't think we should tolerate as Americans. And I'm hopeful that Congress, as I said, will play a more muscular role in the coming days and weeks. And I do think there are a number of options available to us to ultimately prevent this president from undermining the Postal Service in the way that he is doing today.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.